Next up, we have Vince and Craig. You're gonna chat with us for about 10 minutes or so. This is for pre-listing renovations. If you don't know, Free Model, who we were partnered with for the past probably couple of years, actually left the market. So they were doing pre-listing renovations, and they would do like a pay at close type setup, where you can go to your client and say, "Hey, let's do a refresh on your home. We could get you an extra 50K if we do so." Um, and then what they would do is they would basically be the concierge. They would put together all the contractors and bids and all that stuff for you and get that pre-listing renovation done. And then they would basically be paid at close of escrow when the home sold. Now they have left the market. So that's kind of left a bit of a void for pre-listing renovation providers out there. But Vince, who is actually one of our Rise Realty agents, works with Craig, and they do have a solution for getting your pre-listing renovations done. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Vince and Craig. How you doing today? And you might be on mute, Craig. Oh, actually, we lost Craig. Let me find him again here. Oh, there he is.
Have you got him there?
All
Yeah.
right, there you
Can you
are.
hear me now?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you, and I just put you over into the panel list so you can share your screen. There you go. And you're back on mute again, but you should be able to share your screen now. All right, there you go.
So let me go to how do I do the share screen? Sorry, it's just
It's
from
going to be down at the bottom. Usually you hover your mouse down there. I don't know what kind of computer you're on, but it'll be a green share button. You hover down
there
towards
we
the
go.
bottom of the Zoom screen.
Okay. Mm,
I wish
no.
I could do like a
Okay.
screenshot on it. There you go. Looks like you found it.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to run through this PowerPoint. It's basically going to be a review for a lot of you guys, but it's going to discuss a little bit about a market, a little bit about what we do and why it works as a service for realtors. So one of the things we do want to do is talk about minimizing the time and maximizing the profits for our realtor specific program. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Procore Products Incorporated. It's a company out of Colorado, been around since 2016. We specialize in software development and construction management. Um, Traditionally, when we're going into a realtor program, explaining stuff to realtors, want to talk a little bit about what benefits are for the realtors. We also talk about the market in general. So your current real estate trends in Southern California, as your broker has informed you, has changed a little bit. We service from Sacramento down to the border of Mexico. And we are in agreement with that. The California's real estate market is seeing a bit of a stabilization. Some markets are moving faster, some are slowing down. The persistent housing shortage increases demand. So our position is that the 2026 market is going to be successful for everyone. It's just going to be more successful for the people that have pride of ownership and the other things going on. So the current overview for Southern California is we have high demand with limited inventory. The seller challenges are buyers are being more choosy about what they're buying. People are buying a bigger house, a larger house, or upgrading their lifestyle. They're not really investing in the fixer-uppers because when they get involved with a property and they're maxing out their budget to the acquisition, the fixer-upper just sits on the market longer and longer and longer. That's where a service like ours comes into play. Okay, with modern amenities, efficiency, and doing a design that we come into the listing with that works. So what we're focusing on for you guys is steady home price growth and the impact of the renovation prior to your listing. Okay, the key benefits are listings spend a much shorter time on the market. The house sells for more money. The realtors make bigger commissions in shorter times, and the realtors get more referrals from happy clients. Ultimately, it means it's a more profitable business for you as a realtor. Okay. With enhanced curb appeal, the first thing a buyer sees when they pull up to the house is what the house looks like from the street. That's why we focus on exterior painting, windows, gardening, and we have gardeners on. We can do the exterior landscaping. Although exterior landscaping is not our main focus, curbside appeal is our main focus. Okay. Then you want to do the pre-listing repairs and move-in ready appeal. So with increasing what our objective in the whole process is to increase your buyer competition. Okay, when a customer can walk into a house and see a more effective property for their lifestyle, it works better for them. With higher selling prices going on, you have the impact of strategic renovations. What we want to do is strategize with you and with your pre-listing client to do a design that will maximize the ROI for them. For example, some houses need exterior paint and coatings. Other houses have a 25-year-old kitchen and a 25-year-old bathroom that, the curbside appeal is there, but you walk in and see a tile countertop and maybe the doors are got some grease on them or fingerprints or whatever else. You want to update those features and options so that the new buyer coming in knows they have minimum out-of-pocket expenses when they go into the house. This will increase the return on investment for the seller. It also gets you guys a bigger commission in the sale. Quality homes sell faster. We reduce the carrying costs and improve transaction efficiency, which increases profits for everybody else. You make bigger commissions. The types of renovations that maximize values, it's one thing to say, I've got a contractor in my pocket. I'm going to go out and talk to somebody. I'm going to bring my contractor in. Your local jobbers aren't real estate professionals. They don't understand market. They don't understand what's the best thing to do to increase the return on investment for that property. What's going to make that property sell faster than the next listing next door. Okay, our software that we use, we have expert designers, expert craftsmen. This is actually a project showing you our drawing and then showing you the completed kitchen. Okay, kitchen and bathroom models, we update the fixtures, the cabinetry, and the finishing touches. We take an overall, all-comprehensive look at the house. In addition to that, fresh paint, fresh flooring updates, and professional staging. When we come in and do a renovation, we're going to offer you guys the use of some of the staging companies we know, or you guys can have us consult with your staging companies so we know what color to put on the walls, what color flooring, what's going to get maximum appeal for that property to create the buyer frenzy. In addition to that, we also do Title 24 products, zero carbon footprint. A lot of people like getting into the modern codes and everyone has to know that the house isn't going to cost them a fortune to heat and cool it, and then it's going to be maintenance free. Our best practice, why would you use Procore over another company like a Free Model or the other guys that were out there? One, we have years of experience and a proven track record. We use the latest technology to identify the scope of work. We actually go in with a LiDAR scanner. We create as-built of the house. So we have an as-built drawing and we have a picture of everything on the interior of that property prior to presenting a design to your client. We're self-performing. Free Model and Revive, these other companies, they use outside contractors, they use outside people, they use outside software. We bring everything in-house. We don't use outside people to perform our work. Everybody that works on us is contracted through our agency. We bring all of our workers on through a staffing agency. We test them, we educate them, we make sure that they understand what to do before they go on one of our crews and go on one of our builds. We don't overbuild for the area. It's another very important topic. I mean, there's a difference between building a house in Newport Coast and building a house in Garden Grove. Okay, we want to bring the house up to market in the area where it's designed and offer those features and benefits to the buyers that are going to be looking to move into that area. Okay, and more importantly, as we go through our policies, okay, Time. One of the things we've noticed about some of the guys that do compete with us in this marketplace is they're very slow. We're very, very fast. When you submit your project for us, we're going to contact you immediately, set the appointment for as fast as possible, and then we're going to get the job walk done and get you the quote in a very timely manner. The faster you get the quote, the faster we can talk to the listing person, the seller, make sure they approve the design, approve the cost, and we move forward. Additionally, we provide a line item quote that's itemized for all aspects of the work. So if we want to take something out, we merely drop out that line item if the seller isn't interested or if you don't think that's what you need to do for the house. All of our quotes also come with a timeline to complete. So in addition to the job walk and the design, which we do for free, when you get the line item, we quote you everything in there, including the time it's going to take. Building and planning, if we got to get permits, we'll give you an estimate on building and planning. We really can't be held accountable to what the government does. But as far as our master schedule for the work, once we have the job card, that timeline is extremely accurate. Realtors who work with us make bigger commissions and they get paid faster. We have zero complaints. Out of the thousands of projects I've done over the last 35 years, we literally working on a realtor program have no complaints. Also, we have a 100% success track record for sales of our renovated projects. We have built projects for Free Model. We have built projects for Revive. We have built projects within individual realtors. Not one of the projects that we got into and did the remodel with ended up in a non-sale, which is key to our design and our holistic approach toward the project. Our job is to come in and yes, we want to make money on our construction, but we want to make sure that it's for the market that's available there. So we're going to use other tools to make sure that if it's a kitchen, what are we going to put into it? What's the final product? How long is it going to last? And what's that market going to sustain it for to ensure that you guys are getting paid? One of the biggest challenges our competitors have is ensuring the quality of the work, the timely project completion, and the budget management. When we do the design and we present design to yourself and to your lister, the seller, everything is there. So they have 100% of the information to make the decision. If they need to change something, if they want something else to go on, we'll actually do a full change order, which describes the change in the scope and describes the change in the price and describes the change in the timeline to complete. For us, our focus is on providing the highest quality service, the highest quality materials, and the fastest possible timeline, because you guys don't get to get excited about this until the project's done. We want to make sure we're delivering the product that your seller wants and that you want to take to market as fast, as affordable, and with as high a quality craftsmanship as possible. Budgeting and prioritizing high impact changes. This all goes back to our design. Okay, we're going to prioritize the changes that deliver the greatest return on investment. We bring a realistic budget into play. We maximize the profit potential, and we offer financing. I don't know if any of you guys have worked with Revive or Free Model, but we do offer unsecured financing. We offer secured financing, and we offer pay at close options, so that we can pretty much put any project together and make it as flexible as possible to move forward with the construction to get your guys to market. By showcasing the renovations, and I'm sure you guys all use the photographers that do the MLS photography. We bring in the same photographers, and you can obviously use your open houses to say newly remodeled and et cetera, et cetera. You guys know how to market your properties. This is a case study that we did 4545 Tyrone Avenue in Sherman Oaks. It was a canceled listing. What's important is this property did not sell. It went out of listing. Okay, we went in, we gave them a cost to renovate, the time to complete it, days on market after our renovation, and after renovation sale price. So it was a cancel listing at $1.2 million. They invested $249,000 with us for the renovation. The property sold for $1,625,000 20 days after we were done, and we were done in a month and a half. I mean, complete soup to nuts. All right. case study. This shows you the before picture of the kitchen. This shows you the after picture of the kitchen. Kitchens are the heartbeat of the house. A lot of times a kitchen remodel is absolutely necessary. The way it goes. This is another one, case study number 2. This was done this year, 3802 East Summit Ridge Lane in Orange, California. An investor purchased it. I believe it was an investor that purchased it for 1.685. We did the renovations, $172,990, 38 working days. The after repair sales price sold for $2,150. Well, I'm sorry, $2,150,000. Sorry about that, guys. The
I was
little
like, wow,
bar
that didn't
goes
go
right
very
across
well.
my screen. So yeah, nothing like spending $2 million to make 2,000.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. And this shows you some of the work we did. They had a reduced floor down to the fireplace. We went in and leveled the floor, redid the fireplace, put an electronic fireplace into it, resized the windows, trimmed it out. We also redid the master. We redid the whole house, but these are key features. If you look in the master bedroom, they had carpet, they had old tile and mirrors up and everything else. We went through and did new flooring all the way through, got rid of the mirrors. We raised the pony wall behind the bed so they had more privacy to get to the closets. And again, the before picture on the left-hand side, you might think that the kitchen doesn't need to be upgraded, but if you look at the after picture, you see our upgraded kitchen. We have we have slow close hinges, self-closing drawers. There's no noise in the kitchen now, so when you're opening and closing drawers, it's very quiet. We repositioned where the cooktop was because the cooktop was in the island. We put it against the wall with a new hood vent. So we did a lot of things to this house to bring it up to market. Case study number 3. 1737 Bluestone Lane in Monterey Park. Prior renovated value was 805. Cost to renovate was 69,000. Time was 18 days. After repair sales price was $935,000. This case study is instrumental to Vince and myself because the seller did not go with all of the design features we offered. And because they went against the recommendation, we still did the work, but our feel that the renovation would have been, if they would have went with it, the full rehab, we would have gotten more money. So it was a tight case. They chose not to go with a full suggestion. But we can show you here in the family room, again, where we redesigned it, did all new flooring. We tore all the flooring out. We did all the interior paint. We did all the fixtures and fittings, the bedrooms, lighting, etc. They just didn't redo the kitchen like we had suggested. Case study number 4, 307 Mavis Avenue in Los Angeles. Cost to renovate was $79,000. Time to renovate was 23 days. Time on market after complete renovation was 10 days. And the after repair sales price was $1,595,000. This was an instance where you walk into the house and you look at the fireplace on the left-hand side. You try to do it yourself or project, and that was what they were. I mean, nobody wants to buy that. And then if you look on the right-hand picture, you can see our after picture, what looked like after our design went in and after we staged it. House sold, everybody made money. The stairs on the left-hand side, that's very poor flooring. It's in poor condition. You can't quite see the dirt and the grease and grime that are ground into the stairs. But if you look at our after picture, we did the two-tone. We did fresh noses on the stairs. So when you walk in, it's just got a more homey feeling. It's clean, and it went very well. So the conclusion is we're going to boost your property value, attract your buyers quickly, and maximize your return on investment. Renovating a home before sale in Southern California significantly boosts profits by enhancing appeal. It attracts buyers, shortens marketing time. It's a strategic investment in best practices to ensure maximum return on a successful sale. We're in the process of working out with you guys to help you guys submit for you. All you got to do is talk to your broker. He'll tell you exactly how to get your information to us. I don't know how to do question and answers, but that's my thing. So how do I stop sharing?
So
Travis,
it's
I'm a
fine.
little lost here.
Let's see here. I'm just going to replace the current one with
Okay, go
mine.
ahead. Oh, wait, there we go. Stop sharing.
So
There we go.
yeah, there's the chat over on the right-hand side if anybody wants to throw any
Okay.
questions in there. Sorry about that. So yeah, good service. We'll go ahead. We're going to put your info in the back office. so that everybody knows how to get a hold of you. But if you don't look there and you have a listing coming up at any time, just let us know if you can't find it, and we can put you in contact. So, you can give the seller maybe some options if you walk in the home. And, this is especially helpful for the sellers that, are trying to get a premium for their house, but when you walk in, it's just not quite there. Maybe it's a little dirty, maybe it's a little dated. And so you can present this option, and you can give them a before and after repair value so they can see what the additional profit they could potentially make by making some renovations to the house. And you're going to postpone the listing by a few weeks, depending on what they're going to do. But it really can be worth it. I've seen quite a few agents on our team do pre-listing renovations, and the homes, they tend to sell very fast, even in a slower market, because buyers want to walk into a home and be able to move in, especially the first-time buyers. So they don't, they just see dollar signs if they have to, think about how much money they need to put in this home. And it's already costing them a lot of money to get into the home. So if they could just walk in and basically bring their toothbrush, it does tend to sell the home a lot faster. So, and for list or higher in most cases. So I'm a fan of the pre-listing renovations. I just realized my video's not on. So cool. Thanks a lot, Craig. If you want to hang around for a couple minutes in case there's any questions in the chat, but we'll get your info in the back office. And actually, one quick thing before we get going in the back office, I get asked a lot, hey, where do I find the replay of the videos of the meetings and things like that? I usually direct everybody over to our YouTube channel, which is great. It is over there. But I know it can be a little hard to maybe search the video. So on this page right here, Training and Motivation, when you're in our back office, we provided a link to all of our previous webinars, if you want to go, and then it lets you know what that one was about as well. So a little bit easier for everybody to find our previous recorded webinars, if you want to search through those libraries. So awesome. Thanks a lot, Craig. Appreciate you coming on. Good to see you at the
Thank you.
Christmas party. All right, and let me get back over to the meeting. All right, so yep. So again, last meeting of the year. We're going to take 2 weeks off, roughly 2 weeks, and we'll be back the beginning of January, first Monday. We'll give everybody a notice like we usually do. So, all right. So let's go over the remaining. So last week we did referral agreements and how they've been updated. With C.A.R and why they are focusing on it, and then also the new RAD form. I will touch on those if you weren't here in the beginning of the meeting. I'll touch on those just briefly at the end of this meeting again, in case you missed last week. But let's go over some of the updates that C.A.R made to existing forms. There wasn't a lot of new forms or anything like that. It was just some minor revisions. Minor or not, they are things that we need to pay attention to as agents. So one of the bigger ones, and I went over this one a few weeks back on the BRBC, the Buyer Representation Agreement. It clarified that the representation period should not exceed 90 days. So it used to state 3 months, and I actually got that question a lot. Is it 90 days? Is it 3 months? Is it, how are we counting this? Is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 3 months? Is it 30 days? But now they kind of made a clarification that it is, and this coincides with the new law update as well with California regarding buyer representation agreements, that it is 90 days. So you count the days just the same. Today would be day 0, tomorrow would be day 1. So when you're doing your term here for the buyer representation agreement or the PSRA, if you use that one, the property showing agreement, you are going to do beginning date, whatever that is, and then no longer than 90 days past. If you do 91 days, your BRBC is void and you could not be entitled to compensation. So be sure to count those days properly when you're doing these. They also added a reference to the new RAD form for certain realtor disclosures. So that would be for referrals and such. We'll go over the RAD form again here shortly. So that's on E4. You can see that you could check a box there if the broker is paying a referral fee related to the representation of the buyer. Then you're going to check this form. It's going to add the RAD form. They also clarified when agency is terminated. So again, we're looking at the BRBC here, and it says termination of agency relationship. Buyer acknowledges, agrees that both broker's agency relationship with buyer and duties to represent buyer shall terminate either upon this agreement's expiration or the effective date of any cancellation, or on completion of any transaction specified in this agreement, whichever occurs first. So that's about it for the BRBC. For those of you taking listings, the MLSA is part of the listing bundle. They made a couple updates, maybe just one on this one. So they added an option to begin the marketing option selected in the future on page 3. So we're looking at page 3 of the MLSA, and you'll see number 2 right here, marketing option. The marketing option selected below shall start at the beginning of the listing period or at a future date. So if you are going on a listing appointment and they need to do a pre-listing renovation and it's going to take 45 days, you would make the listing agreement effective for today, meaning you are in contract with that seller and you have an agreement to list that property. However, marketing is not going to start for another 45 days till after that renovation is done. So you will check this box right here and put in a future date of when the marketing actually is going to start, which means it goes into MLS, it gets a yard sign, so on and so forth. So that is where that is found now. Other updates, so we have updates to the RLA exclusive, the residential listing agreement. So they added information related to the new law and using digitally altered photographs. So I covered this one a few weeks back, might have been last month even, about digitally altered images and the new law that is going into effect on the 1st of January. And this is an update they made to all of the listing agreements, not just the residential, but actually all of them. And you can see right here, they added in essentially the law on digitally altered images. So if broker uses a digitally altered image in an advertisement or other promotional material to the market property, broker must comply with the Business and Professions Code by including a reasonably conspicuous statement located on or adjacent to the digitally altered image, stating the image is altered, and also a clearly identifying that the original unaltered image can be accessed via link to a publicly accessible internet website, UR or QR code. So be sure to read up on that one. If you want to go back to our previous webinars, you'll see on the law, I think it's the 2026 law updates from a few weeks back. I covered this one if you want to dig into that a little bit more. That's really, kind of the major thing that they added to the listing agreement. So if you happen to have a client who's like, hey, I want to use these images of how the home can look, be sure to point out this section in the RLA and how that works now. California Residential Purchase Agreement. So the RPA, they rearranged the order of the paragraphs to place paragraphs to be initialed directly prior to the signature page. Added a disclosure relating to the electrical system as required by a new law, as well as some other updates. Updated the geographic targeting order paragraph as a result of the new law. Clarified the seller may reject an assignment if the request comes after the time specified, or if buyer is receiving compensation for the assignment, such as a, like a wholesaler. So, let's see here. So here's a couple snippets. You can see they added some parts here about the tenant rights, if there's going to be a tenant in place. They updated the Fair Appraisal Act notice. What else do we have here? Electrical system inspection advice disclosure. This was a new one they added in. For any transaction in which a TDS is required, seller advises a buyer as follows. Basically saying get an inspection. And I don't know how many times we say this in the RPA and advisories, but it is something that we want to encourage all of the time. This is the federal reporting requirement that got postponed. So they went ahead and added this in to the actual purchase agreement now. And I did do a webinar on this as well. I think it was in the law update if you want to rewatch that webinar. This is where they're talking about the assignments. They updated some legally authorized signer stuff. This is all rearranged here, nothing crazy as far as the definitions go. So that's the RPA. So nothing crazy. Receipt for reports form RFR. This is a great form, and I think it's underutilized. I don't actually see a lot of these come through, but this is a good form to have everybody sign in the transaction as far as the buyer and seller. So they added language to clarify and expand the use of each section of the form. So essentially, you're saying this list of reports provided to buyer or seller that were ordered for this transaction. So if you ordered these, who's it ordered by, buyer or seller? Who were they prepared by, and when was the date, and was it delivered via link? You'll check these off, and then obviously they're going to sign and state, yes, I am acknowledging that I received these. Whether they agree to them or not doesn't matter. They're acknowledging that they received these lists of reports. In this section here, I wanted to point out a list of reports from previous transactions or otherwise in seller's possession. Seller either obtained the following reports from a previous transaction or otherwise had the reports in their possession unless otherwise disclosed or noted. Seller has not verified the information, has no further knowledge regarding such reports. Such reports may not be up to date and may not reflect the current condition of the property. So if you have a flip property, or if the sellers happen to have, or actually if you sold them the home and you are in possession of previous disclosures and reports on that house, they need to be turned over to the new buyer. So if you remember from many months back, talking about disclosures and things like that, there is no time limit in the state of California of how long a document in possession of the seller should be turned over to the buyer. If it's 10 years old and they have it, it needs to be turned over to the buyer. There is no time limit. So if you are in possession of those, they need to be turned over. And this is where you do it, is here in section 5 of the RFR, receipt for reports. Check chat real quick. Okay. All right. Residential lease or month-to-month agreement. So this is a new one, new law that passed. So it added a paragraph related to the new law that may require housing provider to provide a stove and refrigerator, and giving the tenant the option to provide and maintain their own refrigerator. They clarify the language related to the tenant breach and what may be charged by the housing provider. So you can see right here, section 11 of the lease agreement. So if you're doing leasing, be sure you bring this to the attention of your RPO, your rental property owner, that they more than likely need to have a stove and a refrigerator in there. And the law states that is required to provide a refrigerator in good working order in your unit.
Really?
And and there was another section here, free of recalls, right here. Maintain in good working order and not subject to recall. So they're getting strict with landlords and what needs to be provided in the homes. A few weeks or months back when we did the law updates, I also talked about upcoming changes to interior temperature habitability of, basically some landlords are going to be required to put in AC as well. Now that's not going to be your typical mom and pop small rental property owner on single units, but I do believe that is coming down the pipeline. Um, Rental property intake form. So they added a question about the existence of a stove and refrigerator that is required under the new law. So section 22, and this is the RPOI form. I didn't put that on here. If you are taking a lease listing, we need to have this form in place. This is a protection for you and the brokerage as well. So we need to be aware of what we are representing our RPOs on. Use this form anytime you're representing the RPO. This is the intake form. It's a bunch of questions. Are you aware of? Yes, no, yes, no. As a reminder, acting as a leasing agent comes with liability for both you and the brokerage as well as the RPO. Representing RPO on a property that does not meet California, habitability standards in quotes and requirements not only places the RPO at risk, but the brokerage as well. So if we are representing owners who are not maintaining their property as they should be, and they're out of compliance, they don't have the stove, the refrigerator, different things like that, that falls back on us as well. So I would recommend, highly recommend, do not take those types of listings. If you walk in the home and you see it is not being maintained properly, the the tenant is going to come to us as well as the landlord, as well as the landlord. So keep that in mind when you're doing these leasing properties on both sides, but especially if you are taking a lease listing, that this falls on us too. So we need all the paperwork to be straight, and we need this rental property intake form as well. Solar advisory and questionnaire form, solar. So they did some rearranging on this one. This one's kind of a tough one for a lot of property owners, but basically what they did is they created 3 sections: an advisory, a questionnaire instructions, and the questionnaire itself. They clarified and added information to the advisory to provide better explanations for the clients. They added a question about solar documents, which shall be provided to buyer. They added clarified questions to provide more information to buyer. They added checkboxes to owned, lease, or subject to power purchase agreement to provide more clarity. So this would be the first section. They added this advisory in here. They didn't add it, but they added to it. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but this is the first revision here, and then you'll see the second one. They have the instructions on the questionnaire, so use this to help you explain to the property owner on how to fill this out. And then the third part is the solar property questionnaire itself, which is the yes/no questions. And again, if they answer yes to a question, they need to provide an answer as to why they answered yes, just like the TDS or the SPQ. This one doesn't get used that often. This is mostly rural property, but the septic inspection, well inspection, property monument, and propane tank allocation of cost addendum, call it the SWIPY. basically they added to this one clarifying language about the time to deliver items or perform actions in the SWIPy. So as you're checking off the boxes of who's going to pay for the excavation and inspection and all that kind of stuff, it's clarifying that those timelines are the same as what you state in the RPA itself. And this is typically an addendum to the RPA. So if you are, representing a buyer on a rural property that has either a septic, a well, they want the corners marked, or they have a propane tank there, any or all of the above, you'll want to use this form. The form RAD, again, we did this one last week, but if you missed last week, this replaces a realtor acknowledgement, makes the benefits of using a realtor more succinct, added a section to make disclosures required by the Realtor Code of Ethics, including relationship to a principal and disclosures related to compensation. What we covered this is a one-pager. They added a line to the RPA and a lot of other forms. If you are receiving any type of referral fee, you need to use this form and disclose it to the parties. And this can include your OpCities, your UpNests, your Realtor.coms, your pay at closed lead sources. This can include that as well. And we can look here on 3C, referral or other fee received from or paid to another broker, from agent's client or principal referred. So you would check the box if you're receiving compensation. My broker is being paid by whatever other that company is, or paying compensation. My broker is paying compensation to whatever other company that is. And then you put in the amount or the percentage if you don't know what the amount is going to be yet, especially if you're adding this in to your BRBC or your RPA or anything like that. You may not know what the final price is going to be, but you can put in the percentage. And then the referral agreement form, this is the last one. They added a reference to the RAD form on this. So you'll see right here, the referral fee gets placed here, the amount, and then which transactions are covered, and then for how long it's defaulted by to 12 months on this. So, and then down here at the bottom, it says agents may use realtor acknowledgement and disclosure form RAD, to disclose to the principal in a prospective transaction a referral fee paid or received. So you would add in the RAD form on this one potentially. So to disclose to the clients, because this is between brokers, the referral form. But we need to disclose this amount if I'm, receiving a fee for a client that I sent out, and I'm receiving a fee from another broker for whatever amount. This is the agreement between the brokers saying, when this principal purchases or sells that property, you're going to pay me X amount. But I need to disclose that to my client too, and that's where I'm going to use the RAD form to do that. So it's basically two forms now when you're doing a referral. It's going to be the referral and the RAD. So just keep that in mind. So that is about it for the forms to update. If you have any questions, let me know. There's nothing, like I said, nothing groundbreaking here, but there were some, some revisions that we need to be aware of as we're, moving along in our business. So these are all taking effect supposedly this week. They said the week of the 15th. We are in the week of the 15th. So we should be seeing these new forms roll out this week. So if you are starting to work with a client, or if you have been working with a client, you have a file going, be sure to refresh that to make sure you have the most recent form once these get rolled out, or to keep checking as you're going to make sure that you have the newest version of the form in your file that you're using. Other than that, the last meeting of 2025, I can't believe it's already here, but thank you for attending. We're obviously going to continue these next year as well. I like doing them. I learn from these meetings as well. Hopefully you also learn from the stuff that we bring to the meetings and guest speakers and everything. So it's all to help add value to your business. Hope everybody has a great, well, essentially the next 2 weeks with friends and family. And if you haven't, got your marketing plan in place, get your goals set. If you want to schedule a time with me, like I said earlier, just use my link. And hope everybody has a great couple weeks. And we will see you first Monday of the new year. Again, the office is open, but the office itself will be closed on, I think, New Year's Day. And then I believe they close early New Year's Eve. Same thing for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So basically, we just don't receive mail on those days. So yeah, other than that, hope you have a great week and give me a call if you need anything. We'll talk to you later.